Hi, all. I hope you're having a nice weekend. I very much enjoyed our class conversation and discussion yesterday. I'm very impressed with the attentiveness you're bringing, the thought, the care to the readings, to your own personal practice, and to having a very thoughtful conversation in class. Thank you for that. I wanted to say a couple things in anticipation of next week, because you may or may not look at the webpage, which is up beforehand, and some of these things are quick little things that you can be doing early on so that you can have more of an opportunity to be practicing some things over the course of the week. As I mentioned in class, there is no writing assignment this week, and in class, what we'll be doing is really dropping in on chapters 1, 2, 3, 11, and the field guide readings, including a couple more that you'll have this week. And that will be an opportunity for us to really sort of put together, wrap up, recap these items before we get to the chapter on awareness. So in this regard, the field guide will have a couple of one reading that introduces you to a breathing technique called the physiological sigh, and chapter 3 introduces you to, or reintroduces you to, 3 breathing practices, one of which we've been doing, but 2 of which we haven't necessarily done. And the idea is for you to try them out, to experiment with them, and then to be doing so each day this week. You can do them anytime, anywhere. You could even make them the settle part of your present moment pivot, so you can drop that one in, so that we can talk about it in class on Friday, and you'll be able to talk about it from a good deal of experience with it. The field guide also has some really nice readings that I think you'll enjoy. One by a federal judge, Alan Gold, one of the sort of leaders of introducing mindfulness into the legal profession, and it's about breathing and mindfulness. Another by mindfulness tips by a variety of judges and lawyers. And many of which will include something with regard to the breath or something about attention or awareness. So I think this will not only be interesting for you to see what others have been doing who've been doing this for a while, but maybe you'll get some ideas as well. Also, there's a nice little one-page piece on mindfulness and mindfulness practices in particular, and intelligence. So it's an interesting one. In particular, the intelligence that they're referring to in that piece is some research looking at mindfulness practices and scores on the GRE. So I think that'll be fruitful for us to continue our discussion of the science around the efficacy of mindfulness practices. All right. With regards to other things to have in mind, there is the PMP 3.0 as a reminder, and in the event that you maybe weren't in class, that new open is to look around like we've done before, and then to see if you can remember what you were thinking a moment before you stopped and took that breath and did the PMP. It's just see what that's like. Can you remember the thought you were having or not? And see what that's like each day when you try it. And then we'll talk about it, because there's much more that can be said about why that can be useful. But in particular, just the phenomena itself of being able to perhaps take the wispy thought that you just had and be able to sort of recollect it will be useful. The do not interrupt practice. Remember, take a day or part of a day form the intention of not interrupting anybody. Please continue to do that, and then we will spend time in class talking about your experiences with that. We'll also talk about what it was like to keep track of and notice your snow globe when you were aware that it was shaking this week. I hope you found that interaction and exploration of this metaphor of the snow globe to be useful, and there are many, many layers of understanding that over the course of the semester. I think you'll find, and there's that, and there's that, and it can be tracked back to a consideration of the snow globe. And we'll be learning some other metaphors that build on it and or take another look at the activity of the mind from different directions, and we can compare it to the snow globe experience as well. All right, is there anything else? Oh yes, one other thing. So that our discussion on Friday around the various readings can be robust, and knowing that some of these chapters we read several weeks ago, you'll see that on the class webpage, your name is tethered to one of the readings in particular. So please review everything, but I understand the pragmatics of that. So when we're in class and we get to a particular reading, I'll likely open it up to you all to introduce ideas, things that you found interesting or thoughtful, and to perhaps guide even class conversation, but certainly to have it where you all are able to chime in because you have made you've been very intentional around a particular chapter. But I also encourage you to look over and reflect on the various chapters so that our class conversation can really help. It's really a recap, we could say, in some ways, as we then get closer to the top of base camp with next week, beyond this week, awareness, and then getting into mindfulness itself. All right. You'll see on the webpage that there's the body scan practice, and you'll do that 3 times, and you'll also do the focused attention practice 1 time, and you'll get outside and you'll do the focused attention practice with the crayons outdoors, much as you did last week, but one little piece has been added to it that you'll see on the class website. All right, wishing you all a wonderful rest of the weekend and a really good week, and as always, please reach out if you have any questions. Be well.